Fellow project managers, I hope you're doing great. Are you getting ready for the PMP exam? Are you struggling a little bit in getting traction? I want to let you know about a solution that we have for you. It's called the PMP exam prep camp. It's a boot camp, and it's going to run for 2 weeks. And at the end of these 2 weeks, the main aim is for you to come away with enough information, enough studying, enough detail for you to take the exam and pass the exam. All right, so if you wanted more information about this, you can just browse pmsucceed.com. When you get to pmsucceed.com, hit the link and check it out, okay? So you might be wondering, what is this based on? It's based on the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide, the PMBOK Guide, 6th edition. So coming into class, I expect you to bring your PMBOK Guide, and we're just going to comb through every single chapter in a lot of detail. In quite a lot of detail, that by the time we are done, you will be absolutely baked. You'll know what you do not know, and you'll know what you're meant to study even further. You'll be able to find your gaps, you'll be able to find your weak points. And here's the cool thing. After the 2 weeks of training, you get 6 months of access to our learning management system, where every process is pre-recorded. So not only do you get 35 hours of training, you also get the ability to watch pre-recorded versions of all of this information. On top of that, you get to relive the course experience by having another 6 months of access to the content that you will be present in. So you're going to get access to our learning management system that has over 50 hours of content. You're going to get access to the videos that are generated just like this one. In fact, why don't we dunk you straight into one of the classes? Scope management. So in scope management, a lot of people look at this linearly, you know. A lot of people just look at plan scope management, collect requirements, define scope, but not so in this training. You see, in this training, as you can see on the screen, we start sensitizing you to interrelationships between processes. So we go back in time and take a look at how all of these processes interact, how the project charter is an input to the development of the project management plan, and how the project management plan fuels collect requirements. We stimulate your thinking so that you're not thinking linearly anymore. You're thinking in leaps and bounds and making those interconnection points. The project management plan goes into define scope and create WBS. And you can see these arrows showing you interactions right there in scope between collect requirements and define scope. We have requirements documentation that is used. You see, a lot of people fail to realize that this process right here, define scope, is not just about creating a document called the project scope statement. It's not. This is where we actually filter out those requirements that are not appropriate for the actual deliverable we're trying to complete. This is where you might take a look at certain requirements and say, those are nice to haves, but we're not going to have them right now. Define scope goes a step further. So throughout the training, we're calling out these interconnection points, the RTM, Requirements Traceability Matrix. Why does it go to validate scope? Now, if you've been studying for a while, you might already have it down. You might already know why that's the case. But if not, we call your attention to the fact that the customer, the stakeholder, the sponsor, whoever is involved in validate scope, they need to be taking a look at that RTM, especially when the deliverable is product-based, and they need to be analyzing, is that requirement truly inherent in the deliverable? Am I going to sign off on it? You see, the RTM, it maps requirements to their origin for a reason. It's so that you can get formal sign-off on a requirement level, not just at the macro level, but at a requirement level, you can track each requirement to a test script. Back in the day when I used the RTM to manage projects, that's what we did. Requirements to origin. Don't sign off if it's not inherent in the deliverable. So you can see the project management plan, it goes to these processes in scope. And we make it very clear to you what exactly is happening. Even in control scope, you see the RTM going there again. You see the project management plan is feeding all of these scope management processes. Did it ever occur to you that all of the processes in scope feed off the project management plan? All the processes in schedule and scope and cost. The only two processes in the entire PMBOK guide that do not use the project management plan as an input are these two in blue right here: develop project charter and develop project management plan. So I'm showing you all this so that you understand this training is not a death by PowerPoint. This is a hands-on approach to the PMBOK guide. Seriously, hey, some of you may need to backtrack out of that training that you're thinking of going for, because this is the course that you want to be on. We're going to take every question that comes, every question. And not only that, we're going into the deep dregs that a lot of people run away from. You know, a lot of people hate EVM. A lot of people run away from it. But in this training, we will put things like this in the forefront. Your SPI, your SV, your CPI, by the time we are done, we will unravel the mysteries. The big old formula behind me here that a lot of people struggle with, we are going to unravel them all. I'll be showing you secrets and tricks. Some of you have been sweating it out with this book. You know, you've actually made this book your Ambien for the night. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. There are better ways of going to sleep than making this your Ambien, okay? So by the time we are done, we are going to unravel the EACs. What you do need to understand is you have an instructor who has been there, done that. You have an instructor who has taken 6 PMI exams and been into Prometric 7 times, having taken the CAPM in 2011 and renewed it. Those of you going for the CAPM, you do know that you have to renew your CAPM every 5 years. Well, this is my 2nd round, so I've been into Prometric quite a few times. But of course, you know, that's changing to Pearson VUE in the next few months. But nonetheless, I have been involved in maneuvering around the foreboding interface for PMI exams. There's a lot that you can learn, not just in terms of the content, but the tricks of the trade to getting this done. I'll motivate you. I'll inspire you. Very importantly, I'll hold you accountable. Lots of you are on courses that you've forgotten about. Like, oh, I'm actually signed up for PMP training. I forgot. You know why you forgot? No accountability. No one's looking for you. You just keep on rolling out, bankrolling lots of these jokes who put out training and couldn't care less whether you finish it or not. Not the case. And hey, if you're one of my students watching right now, and you know you owe me, I challenge you, give me a status update. You're owing me. You're owing me a PMP. You think I'm in it for the short haul? I ain't forgotten. I know that you owe me. More importantly, you owe yourself that PMP. That is how passionate it gets, okay? So this is not a one-time ride and after the course, you never see your instructor again. That's not the case. More than the instructor, I'm your buddy, I'm your friend, I'm your colleague. I'm a fellow PM. I've been through the pain that lots of you have. How am I going to study for this PMP exam when I'm on a plane every single week? There are ways. You do know that if you sign up for this program, you are going to get a download of this awesome product. I created this product 11 years ago. Thousands of PMPs will tell you they use the Project Management Audio Digest. Right now, this is 20 hours of audio. Who gets it? You do when you sign up for the program. 20 hours of audio. I mean, it's broken down into such granularity that it's hard for you to even forget the stories and the detail that I tell you here. In addition to that, you will get a PDF version of Project Management Essentials. And if you are within the US and you feel you would rather have a hard copy, not a problem. We will ship you a hard copy. And if you are in other parts of the world and you wish to get a version that is hard copy, we'll show you how to do that. But you know, a lot of people are asking for the Project Management Essentials book. The thing about the Essentials book is it is not available on Amazon. No. This book contains so much juice in it that we can't even put it out there. You're going to have to subscribe to the course to get it. You know, one of our students, former military, US Marine to be precise, went out to South Korea for his final assignment. What did he take along with him? Project Management Essentials, after coming for a boot camp, similar to this boot camp, but held live in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. After traveling hours and hours and reading this book throughout his final assignment, came back to the US. His colleagues were still wondering if they were going to take the exam. He dunked himself into Prometric, got certified so quick, people couldn't even believe he got certified. Why? He soaked the essence of this book. This book will decompose a lot of the topics that you find so esoteric in this book. It will. Things such as what is behind me that throw people for a loop, you know, the BACs and the CPIs of the world and how those interact to give you the EAC. It's all broken down step by step. It is. So if you truly mean business for your PMP, you need to hit the link, or you need to go to pmsucceed.com, click the link, and sign up. So what have I said so far? 35 contact our course. The curriculum is there. It starts on the 8th of May. Now, for those of you joining other classes in the future, you might see this video again, but the dates will be different. But for those of you that want to get certified like yesterday, you need to sign up for this training. Do it. Okay? Don't fool yourself into thinking it gets any better than this. It does not. It does not. 6 months of learning management system access. Solid study guide. Ridiculously gargantuan audio. You could listen to this audio all day long, round the clock, and still it hasn't ended. 20 hours. It would probably outlast you energy-wise. You see what I'm saying? These are things that will propel you forward. Shout out to one of my students, Shri. She was on a program like this. Some of you have heard me talk about Shri. Some of you have heard her. Some of you were on the journey with Shri, going through that 1 hour session we had on all the processes. I don't know if you watched that, but these are vehicles and mechanisms that I put in place for my students to ace the exam. Shri got 3 ATs and is now a PMP after coming for this same course last year. That's how it's done, my friends. What about Dustin? 4 ATs. Dustin was in a class exactly like this last year. Bust up, understood, I need to read that, I need to study that, I need to do this. took all the mock exams. Speaking of which, on this course, you got three mock exams. Three 4-hour, I beg your pardon, mock exams and 2 1-hour mock exams. It's hard for you to go wrong if you follow the system. Follow the system, okay? So what I'm advising you to do is to come for the training, take all the quizzes that are offered to you, take the mock exams, follow the process. Don't try to jump the gun. A lot of people say, Phil, I would like the shortest way to getting PMP certified. Everyone's way is different. Everyone's path is different. That's why you've got 6 months, 180 days. Now, when it gets beyond 180 days, it starts getting silly. It does. Why? How should I explain it? It's like being in peak performance and going for a fitness competition. To be in peak performance mode forever, it takes so much time, effort, energy. Now, you can ramp up and get to the peak, but if you don't take advantage of being in peak performance mode for your exam, it starts tapering off. So a lot of you have reached peak performance and you crashed and you're wondering, how do I get back on the program? This is it. Get back on the program. Do not go as far as planning 6 months, except you're just starting. If you're just starting, I can understand. And for those people, they would really use all 6 months. For those of you who have been on the journey already in some wacky boot camp that hasn't helped you one bit, it'll probably take you a lot less. Some folks come on this program and within 4 weeks, they get it done, you know? So the options are endless, but they are available to you through this program, okay? And that is really what I want you to be aware of, okay? Lots of options are available to you through this program. So before I round up today, I will just show you a few more ideas going back to our scope management summary. So in scope management, you need to be thinking about all the interconnection points, like I said. Direct and manage project work. How does that interact with scope? This is what I'm showing you right here. See that? What goes into validate scope? Some of you already know. WPD. WPD goes in there, goes into control scope as well. Control scope interacts with monitor and control project work. So the summary of what I'm trying to tell you folks is there are a lot of feedback loops. Okay? And these feedback loops we explore. You see, in studying for the PMP exam, you might encounter sub-bullets. Those need to be marked and paid attention to. You got to pay attention to those sub-bullets. If you don't pay attention to the sub-bullets on the exam, you'll find questions that make no sense. And that's why these interrelationships are being demonstrated. All right. Now, scope is a favorite chapter of mine, not only because of the interrelationships that I showed you, but going beyond that, I quite enjoy the collect requirements process. I feel it's a trip. I love it. Why do I like collect requirements so much? Because if you do not collect solid requirements, your scope is doomed. It's doomed to be inaccurate and it's doomed to fail. Your project is likely going to be a failure if requirements have not been well collected. So why don't we take a look at this in a little bit more detail. I'm going to show you a few slides here. Collect requirements is a really powerful process. You know, lots of the inputs you already know, but if you go into the tools and techniques, this is where it gets very interesting. At a high level, you're thrown data gathering and data analysis. You're thrown decision making and things such as that. But when it goes into the detail, this is where it gets fun. 5.2. Let's take a look at some of my favorite tools and techniques. You know, I train not just the PMP exam content, but general project management to firms worldwide. And I notice, especially those in IT service delivery, IT service support, hardware, software firms, they get really excited about requirements. They love the requirements collection process because they know that if your requirements are skewed, you're doomed. That's why this is one of my favorite places in the book. So let's examine page 142 onwards. All right, so expert judgment. What do you need expert judgment in? A lot of things. Business analysis. Some folks have business analysts in their organization, and you want to pull those folks in as you're collecting requirements. Then it goes into data gathering. This is where data gathering takes on a different meaning in collect requirements. So let me break it down by showing you another layer of detail. Let's peel the onion a little bit more. So right here in data gathering, as you can see on the screen, you got brainstorming for ideas. It could be structured, it could be unstructured. You could have brainwriting, where the ideas are written down. You got interviews used to gather information. It could be structured or unstructured again. You got focus groups, bringing together, the keyword is pre-qualified stakeholders. And the list goes on and on and on. But I don't want to get lost at the high level. I want to take you guys into a little bit of the weeds here. So let me further go into some of these favorite tools and techniques of mine. Brainstorming could be free form or structured. You could use mass interviewing techniques. Still along the lines of collect requirements, we have the nominal group technique on page 144. This goes under interpersonal and team skills. So you enhance brainstorming by further using a voting process. See that? Very, very helpful and fair. It's a fair way of you deciding which requirements will make their way. Mind mapping under data representation. What are you trying to do here? You're trying to consolidate lots of ideas into one visual map. These are really powerful tools to propel your team to a whole new level. The affinity diagram is also talked about under data representation. These are really more like your post-it notes. These right here are more like post-it notes. And you can use an affinity diagram to group large numbers of ideas. And this could be further analyzed and acted upon. That's your affinity diagram. Another of my favorites is right here on page 146. And this is the context diagram. For those friends of mine in the world of IT, these context diagrams depict product scope by showing a business system and how it interacts with the actors, people, and other systems. We call those people actors. How do they interact? In this example, Swish Swash Windshield Wiper Company, we can see that the actors on the left and on the right are interacting with the business system. See that? The PMBOK guide also has an example on page 146. In this one, it's an HR talent management system. So the bottom line is it's a system and the interactions of actors with it. What goes in, where does it come from, what comes out, where does it come from, who does it come from, Who is it going to, so on and so forth. Here is another context diagram, as you can see. Customer order system. The sales rep puts in information or withdraws information. The order system sends information to the bank. The customer puts in an order, gets an order reject notice in some instances, gets an invoice out of the system. Things like this. It's very helpful when you're designing systems to use a context diagram. Document analysis. This was a fun one on a project I worked on because there were so many business rules for overtime at the airport. I worked for a well-known airlines firm, and we were trying to implement an overtime time management system with the Chronos clocks and all that. And at the end of the day, there were so many business rules, so many union rules. Document analysis, you got to analyze those documents and know that if this, then this. And those rules then have to be converted into sensible, meaningful coding, which is always fun for the coders to translate. So, my friends, that is an idea of how this training will unfold. Are you going to jump in while you have the ridiculous offers you see, or are you going to let it pass you by? Do not. Sign up, okay? Sign up as soon as you can, because you know these offers, they don't stick around for long. All right, so go to that page and sign up. And before I go, I'm going to ask you a few namby-pamby questions, because I love asking you questions. You know that. These are not going to be like the crazy questions that you'll get in the course. These are namby-pamby. Very, very easy. So simplistic. I'd be shocked if you didn't get them all. All right, so those of you on the East Coast, it's approaching 7 a.m. I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to hit you with some crazy questions first thing in the morning. That wouldn't be very pleasant. So here is a question. Management has requested that you track the project at a level above the planning package level, but below the root node. This likely refers to what? Take a stab. And if you care to chat in, you can chat in. Chats are always welcome. So if you are on YouTube at the moment and just hanging out and taking a look at what I'm saying, you can feel free to hit your refresh button. I believe it is an F5, or you can just refresh it. And yes, you will indeed see what I'm talking about. The chat box. So you want to chat it in? You want to tell me what this is? I mean, this is 101. This is 101. Code of accounts, work package, control account, or is it task or activity level? Feel free to chat in. Tell me. Feel free to chat into your buddy, Phil. This is very easy. So you know how the WBS is broken out? Let me turn off this so that you can read the question properly. But you know how the WBS is broken out by the root node? Under the root node, you got level 2, then level 3. It could go on to level 7 in some projects. But the bottom line is, what comes under the root node? What is above the planning package? You know the answer? You got to understand WBS creation to get this right. So if you go to the PMBOK guide, let's go to the glossary, page 600 and nope, not 600, 700. 702. 702. Okay. So management has requested that you track the project. What does it say? At a level above the planning package, but below the root node. Control account is the answer. The control account is clearly above the planning package, right? And it is below the root node. So these are a few of the kinds of things I would expect you to have started looking at already. I don't think anyone, I don't think we had any takers on that question. That may be a little bit too much for some folks. But trust me, that is a very, very basic question. Let's take a look at another very pedestrian question here. You are using work performance information as an input to a particular process. Which process is this WPI from? What do you think? You're using work performance information as an input to a process. Which process is this WPI from? A, B, C, or D? This is a cakewalk, my friends. This is so easy, guys, right? I know some of you are gearing up for your final exam push. You know that this stuff is easy. You know. Some of you have taken the exam before. You've got to take it again. You know that what I'm showing here is easy. So the answer is WPI only comes from monitoring and controlling processes outside of integration. So the answer obviously has to be none other than control scope. All right. All right, let's amp it up and show you one or two more intermediate questions that border more on the resource management track. So I will ask you a few questions from resource management. Let's play with these. And this question set is a little bit different from what I showed you just now. Which process is the tool and technique being used? You got 6 processes in resource management. And here is the first one, hierarchical charts. Now, to answer this question successfully, you do need to know the sub-level stuff in resource management. Okay, this is not a straightforward question. All right, so is this A, B, C, D, E, or F? Hierarchical charts. Anyone know? No? No takers on this one? Seems like nobody wants to answer that question. Hierarchical charts are used in plan resource management, okay? That's under your data representation. Hierarchical charts, your OBS, remember that? What about this one? Responsibility assignment matrix. It's a tool and technique used where? You see what the problem is? A lot of folks bypass the sub-bullets, so they find things like this difficult. Is the RAM used in estimate activity resources, acquire resources, develop team, or plan resource management? You see, you got to know this stuff. The answer is plan resource management. What about this? Text-oriented formats. Do you know what text-oriented formats are? It's another tool and technique of plan resource management. You got to know these details, my friends, so that this is how we roll in the course. You know, we sensitize you to know this stuff. Let's take a look at page 317. It says text-oriented formats. And I'm reading from the PMBOK guide, obviously. Reading from the PMBOK guide. You can follow along. But these text-oriented formats, they're really more like forms with a description of role and responsibility, but not to be confused with any of the other things we just looked at. And they're not hierarchical charts, they're not RAMs, they're not RACIs, they are just text. It says, team member responsibilities that require detailed descriptions can be specified in text-oriented formats. It says, the documents are known by various names, including position descriptions and role, responsibility, authority forms. Very form-oriented. All right, what about organizational theory? Your friends, Maslow, McGregor, Herzberg, Vroom, and McClelland. You got to know this stuff for your test, my friends. Okay, so all these pieces, things like this is the level of detail that you have to get to. Don't stop at data analysis, data representation, and all that. No, no, no. We got to go into the sub-level. All right? So for those of you who are just joining, I'm sensitizing you to the PMBOK guide and also sensitizing you to the insane offer that is available on May 1st only. You got to take action. And I just told folks, for those of you in the US, Canada, we could ship this to you if you wanted it. You know, this is only available to students on the course. We'll also be getting you a download, 20 hours of audio, 20 hours. If you listen to Shree's Lessons Learned, she talked about how her family loved to listen to this on their commute. And she put them through the pleasure of listening to the audio digest. It wasn't torture, because there's a lot of humor in there. There's drama. My colleague, Emily Berry, joins me in this. You hear her as well, and you hear a lot of other people. There's so many other folks on this recording. It's called the Project Management Audio Digest. In fact, they don't have this on Amazon anymore. So you got to get the download. If you want just this, you go to Praizion.com. You can get the download. But if you sign up for the program, you get this as part of the program. My goodness, it's ridiculous. Think about it. This costs $175, right? The learning management system that we're giving you for 6 months, I actually need to go to the website and check out how much it is, but I can tell you the cost of this and the LMS, just that is worth it. And then you've got the 35 hours of online live training. My goodness. If you don't sign up for this, I don't know what you will. I do not know what you will. Let me take a look. So on our learning management system, if you sign up for a month, it is $150. 6 months is $599. So if you add this and that, it makes sense already. The price is so right. Do it. Okay? Do it. And you know, I'll hold you accountable. You already know how I roll. You sign up for this program, you know, message to my students, those of you who have been ignoring my emails, you know who you are. I keep holding you accountable. You can't escape. I got you on my radar because you paid for the program. So it's my job to hold you accountable. So if you're watching, if you're one of my students, you're owing me a PMP or you're owing yourself, first and foremost, a PMP, I'm here for you, okay? But I keep reminding you, let's do it. Some of you have been for training in the past. You're watching and you're like, I wonder if I should go for a refresh. Of course you should. There's hardly any way of getting back on the bandwagon after 2 years of dormancy. You've been off the radar for 2 years. You said, Phil, my job came calling. And that's why I say when you sign up for this program, follow through in quick succession. I'll hold you accountable. I'll help you. I'll help you. I also mentioned a few minutes ago that the topics The topics that a lot of people run away from. Risk. That is another topic people run away from. The dreaded EACs. The typical, atypical, and what have you. All that stuff. Chapter 1, 2, and 3, manager versus leader. Are you more management-oriented or leader-oriented? This is where we take a look at a fun chapter, chapter 3 in the PMBOK guide. The terrible three, WBS dictionary, and project scope statement that sent people scrambling into the dictionary to find out what is a WBS. You'll find it in the PMBOK guide. But when you take a look at the scope baseline, it's very significant, especially in scheduling. Speaking of scheduling, we also address forward passes, backward passes, leads, lags, slack, float, all the fun stuff, crashing, fast tracking, smoothing, leveling. Oh my goodness. E, F, 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 S, F. If what I'm saying sounds like things people should bleep out, you've not started studying for this exam. This is all legitimate vocabulary for the exam. Finish to finish is FF, start to finish is SF, early start is ES, early finish is EF. It sounds like something people should bleep out on those late night shows, but seriously. Budgeting and all that stuff, we're going to take that down. Communications, we're going to take that down. Procurement and all the goofy contracts in there. The shifty contracts, you know, the cost reimbursable type contracts, the award fee, the shiftiest of them all. We're going to take a look at all of this stuff. Okay, we're going to break down the processes one by one. Things like managed project knowledge with its tacit versus explicit dogma. We'll take a look at that. Direct and manage project work with its very important outputs of deliverables and issue log and WPD. We're going to take them down one by one. And then we're going to unravel. We're actually going to break these higher level things down. You know, we'll take a look at the PMIS and what exactly it means. A lot of people don't realize that the project management information system could be more than one thing. You know, it could be a scheduling system, it could be a cost system. And another thing I should tell you about this training is it is very collaborative and very interactive. So no question is a dumb question. All questions welcome. It is also very motivational, very motivational. All right, so if you have any questions that I can answer about the PMP exam, about studying or anything else, now would be a good time, don't you think? Before the East Coasters start heading out to work. Questions, concerns, moans or groans of any sort are always welcome. You know, I always want to answer questions for you if you have them. I also love asking you questions. Should we go back to that? Okay, I will ask you one more namby-pamby question. This question is with regards to none other than resource management, and we are looking specifically at Tuckman's Tuck Shop. I'm sure you're like, what on earth is he talking about? Tuckman's Tuck Shop of volatile characters. Let's take a look. Tuckman's ladder. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you knew. All right, so let's take a look at this question about Tuckman's ladder. All right, here we go. Your firm has been awarded a contract to rebuild part of the I-995 with a state-of-the-art low-noise asphalt. Your team members are having a technical argument. Which of the following is true? Is it A, B, C, or D? They are in performing. This is storming. They are informing, or they are in norming. Where are they? I usually give the proverbial 1 minute, 12 seconds that the PMI gives you. 30 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. And 0. All right, let's take a look at the answer. The answer, drum roll, is none other than storming. So some technical disagreements happen in storming. In fact, a lot of the disagreements happen in storming. So if you haven't read this section in the PMBOK guide, not to worry, got you covered. Come for the training. Sign up for the training, because we cover a lot of stuff like this in detail. You get to play with questions. You get to ask, but Phil, why is that the answer? I often get that. But why? Why is that the answer? All right, my friends, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, okay? Don't forget, you're going to get some really awesome materials, audio, the book, and you already have the PMBOK guide, right? So this course is based entirely on the PMBOK guide. These are support materials. You also have the learning management system with over 50 hours of video, lessons learned from your colleagues who have been there, done that, people who have gotten certified and moved through the ranks to other certifications. You're going to hear from them. They're all there on the learning management system, waiting for you to sign up. And then when you do sign up for these 2 weeks, we are going to be going deep into the content, all chapters for many, many hours. Something like cost will probably take us at least 2.5 to 3 hours. So when you go for boot camp and you know, they rush you through a lot of this stuff, it's a joke. You're not going to be rushed through cost. You're not going to be rushed through period. Schedule management, the 0 versus the 1 method. We're going to be unraveling all of these mysteries. Trust me. You're going to have an instructor who has had this thing for lunch. I tell you, I mean, so the previous editions of the guide, 4th, 5th, and 6th edition, being a final reviewer, I dedicate a lot of my time to reading the book even before it comes out. And then when it does come out, what do? I begin to look for the inconsistencies, because trust me, there are some. So if you've not downloaded the errata sheet for the 6th edition, just Google PMBOK errata. Take a look, they're corrections. What I'm trying to help you realize is I eat this thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is like a footstool to me. It's like my breakfast. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And I'm saying that to impress upon you, not to go for boot camps where your instructor is like, let me get back to you on that. Let me write that down and get back to you. I mean, if every question, I know some questions are good about getting back, but if every question is like, let's take that offline, you know you're in the wrong course. You want to be in this course. You ask me a question, I may even be able to quote you the page where the answer's on. Seriously, that's how deep I know this thing. And I don't have an abusive relationship with the PMBOK guide. Some people do. They cuss it, They swear at it. Not me. No, 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 no. No. PMBOK guide is my friend. Okay. So with that said, I know I've left it to last, but some people might be like, who's this nutcase talking to us? Why should I even listen to him? Who is he? Well, if you haven't been on the channel before, you probably don't know. My name is Phil, and I try to be friendly under most circumstances, except you're one of the naughty students. Are you a naughty student? Are you one of those who's been running away from getting certified? If you have, then maybe I don't come across as being very friendly. Maybe I come across as a fiend instead of a friend. Oh my goodness. Okay. So here are my credentials. Like I said, I have 6 PMI certifications: PMP, PMISP, RMP, ACP, OPM3. Some of you are like, what on earth? Are those really true certifications? I'm also Prince 2 certified, CAPM certified, CSM certified, and my firm, Praizion, trains all of these certifications. If you want to get PMISP certified, PMIACP, we do a lot of these on site for our clients, you know, and some of the clientele I have trained include these names you see on the screen: US Army, the FBI, US Air Force, NASA. You see the whole bunch of organizations on the screen. So you're in great hands. I've been doing this for a while. Got certified in 2005. As soon as I got certified, they started hunting me down. Various organizations started hunting me down. You see, when you get PMP certified, it's not so much about just being a PMP. Being a PMP will get you in the door, but it definitely won't keep you there, except you can demonstrate that you truly can bring change, lasting change. You truly can help propel the organization from state A to state Z, or wherever they want to end up. And that's why within a few months of being a PMP, now don't tell your boss this, because your boss may not take this very well, but I'll tell you in secret, my salary level went up. Not 100%, not 200%, 300% after getting PMP certified. Why? Because organizations understood the value that I could bring to them. And I'm not talking about a trainer, I'm talking about as a project manager, as a project consultant, not even training this stuff. So for you guys who are looking to elevate your career, to expand, to multiply what you do, perhaps one of these certifications offered by the PMI is the master key to expand your horizon. Maybe it is, you know. Some of you are PMP certified and you're thinking, what should I do after getting PMP certified? You already know my recommendation. Go for the CSM. Hey, look, those of you thinking of going for a Scrum certification, if you are not on the Scrum Alliance website, you're doing it wrong. That needs to be your first port of call. Okay? CSM. And make sure it's the Scrum Alliance website. Do not sign up for certifications that mimic the real deal. There are many, many mushroom certifications out there. You gotta make sure that you sign up at the Scrum Alliance. Okay? Someone says, Phil, are you a plant? Oh my goodness, you guys crack me up. How could I be a plant? I'm a human. I don't work for the Scrum Alliance, but I'm a certified Scrum Master. And I can tell you that the training that I got from Tom Meller, CST, through the Scrum Alliance program is really what helped me build a firm foundation for the PMISP. So I'm not a plant from the Scrum Alliance. You guys are cracking me up. All right, let's wrap it up. I appreciate you guys joining me. Again, the website you want to go to is pmsucceed.com. Sign up there. I look forward to seeing you. Hilarious questions. All right, take care.